Alright, welcome back to another episode of Cooking with AI. As always, I'm your host. Unless I'm not, then I guess I'm not, right? So today I'm going to do a country fried steak. I'm going to do some homemade biscuits and gravy, and as well as homemade mashed potatoes. So I got my list of everything here that we need. So I printed out all three steps are here for ingredients. I got my flour, I got my milk, my eggs. It calls for buttermilk, but you can do a tablespoon of vinegar with it per cup to mix it. And then everything else can be pretty standard seasoning or garlic, paprika, salt, pepper blend, and then of course oil for frying the steaks in. Like everything ready. So what it recommends here first is we get out all the ingredients, which I just did. I'm going to start cutting the potatoes into chunks and go ahead and preheat the oven to 425 for the biscuits. Now the biscuits won't take too long to do. Once I get the potatoes washed and then cut, and once we put it in a pot of cold salted water, bring it to a boil, then reduce the simmer for 20 minutes. So once I get them in the pot, I just turn it on high and wait till it boils. I'll start working on the biscuits at that point. And the steaks will go fairly quick while the biscuits are cooking, since they cook, roughly 20 minutes or so, 15-20 minutes. I will have more than enough time to batter the steaks, get them in and all that good stuff. And then at the end, once the steaks are done, take a few tablespoons of the grease and everything left over from that, clear everything else out, add some flour and some milk, simmer it until we make our own gravy. So everything should come out fairly well. So first things first, like I said, got the ingredients out, got everything I need. Got my milk, got the vinegar, I'm turning it into buttermilk. Some of them just need regular milk. Got my steaks out, got my potatoes out. So I'm gonna get a handful of potatoes, go ahead and wash them real good. Then go ahead and cover them with water, add some salt, get it to boil. Then I'll come back over here where we're at right here, and we'll start the flour process to make the biscuits. So let me get those on 425. In fact, I'll just kind of move over here real quick. So I'm gonna preheat this oven to 425. Our goal is always to come out with like an hour time frame to cook. For one good meal a day, I don't think that's too unreasonable. And generally, most of the time when I cook all these, there'll be 4 or 5 steaks here. So we'll have leftovers. My son tends to like this, so leftovers probably disappear tonight. I had a plan. I need to figure out what my plan was. What I'm going to do for the rest of the weekend. Think about maybe got some meatballs in there. Do kind of some kind of spaghetti and meatball type thing. Possibly. And maybe a chicken meal, chicken pot pie, chicken soup, something like that. Alright, I should have enough potatoes here. Get this out of my way. Can't pick that thing up, save my life. So what it said it wanted is cut into equal chunks. On these bigger ones, I'm actually going to cut them in 3. That way the chunks all come out pretty even, so it'll cook down pretty good. Especially this big one here. Instead of just quartering it, I want to cut this thing up pretty good. There's potatoes. Wants me to cover them in cold water. That's what I'm going to do here. I'll put this up here on the burner. Turn this on high until it gets a boiling. Alright, we got our salt water going. So next thing on the agenda here will be, so I got the ingredients, cut them. Once we go ahead and set up my dredging station, so let me do that. And my dredging station consists of I'll find that. Alright, so one flour, I'm going to do half the seasoning, so it's going to be a cup of flour, paprika, garlic, salt, pepper, mixed together. Another bowl is going to be the second half, a cup of flour, salt, pepper, paprika. And then a third bowl will be the eggs and the 1 cup of buttermilk. So let me get, what am I missing here? Garlic powder. So next thing I want to do is set up my dredging station. I got my potatoes on. Once they start boiling, I'll reduce the simmer, cook for 15-20 minutes. Next, we're going to start making our biscuit dough. Let me see if this is boiling yet. Not yet. Alright. I'll keep an eye on that. Once I hear it boiling, I'll start working on that. Let's see, for the biscuits, I need 2 cups of flour, tablespoon of baking powder, teaspoon of baking soda. Here I got baking powder, I need baking soda, I need salt, 6 tablespoons of cold butter, 1 cup of buttermilk. That's it. So I'll get my baking soda. Alright, so I got my baking soda, I got my flour, I got my baking powder, I can make my buttermilk. So first, what it wants me to do is to mix the dry ingredients, and then I cut in the cold butter until crumbly. Then I add buttermilk, mix until it's all combined. I'm gonna turn out the dough and just fold it a few times to get layers. Then cut them into 1-inch thick biscuits. Bake 15 to 20 minutes until golden. Keep butter cold, makes flaky biscuits, it says. Alright, so let me get a bowl. So mix dry ingredients first, which means I'm going to mix in 2 cups of flour, 1, and then dos. Should be all the flour I need until I do my gravy. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, or half a teaspoon of baking soda, take that back. Half a teaspoon of baking soda. Tablespoon of baking powder. Alrighty. One teaspoon of salt. That's all potatoes are going. Alright, my potatoes in. Let's see. Salt. I need buttermilk. So, mix my dry ingredients. Probably gonna need my mixer. Yes, sir. Mix a lot here for a minute. Cut in cold butter. Till it's all crumbly. So let me get my butter. Let me cut off what I don't need already. Alright, so we got some butter cut in. Now, let's throw them in here. Again, so since it wants buttermilk, I'll add a splash of vinegar to it. I'll make us a good old buttermilk. Take a gander at what we got here. That's about ready. Let me find. Alright, I think it's going to be good enough there. So what we want is about an inch thick, it said. I want you to so now alright, so the biscuits are in the oven. We want roughly 15 minutes. I need to add another 6 minutes to them once that alarm goes off. We'll start doing the steaks, and then in between that time, the potatoes will be done. So we'll drain them, we'll add our butter, more milk, then we'll mash and season. Let me see what I need for my potatoes. So for my potatoes, I'm gonna need a cup of milk. I'm gonna do half a cup of milk, half a cup of heavy cream. I'm gonna do a little bit of my garlic, 4 tablespoons of butter. Already got 2 over there, I believe. Yep, so I just need 2 more tablespoons of butter. That's gonna be pretty easy to do. So now we're gonna move over here. As you see, I got my dredging station set up. We're gonna start dredging the steaks. Probably don't need that. So it always likes us to pat dry these, so I'm gonna go ahead and pat them dry. Go ahead and put them on the plate. That way they're already ready to go. So the routine it wants me to take is I'm going to put it in my first thing of flour, I'm gonna dip it in my egg, put it in my last thing of flour, then add it to the pot over here. I can probably get 3 of these going at a time, so we'll do 3, then the other 3. I say that's starting to get good and hot. Would really press in, then dredge here, then really press in again. Looking like it's going to be a nice good coat. I'm going to take it back, maybe only get 2 in there at a time. Only get 2 on there at a time. Now it says give it a good several minutes to cook on each side. You want to make sure the seasoning really browns up, takes hold. So I've got 3 minutes on the potatoes. So we've got perfect time. Once the first side's done of this, when I flip it, then I'll drain these potatoes, start getting them ready. I'll add another 6 minutes to the biscuits after that as well. And that'll get us on a good pace. Let me get some plates to put this on. That way everything's gonna be about done at the same time. We'll have the biscuits done, potatoes we gotta finish up. Be a little bit more butter. So I typically find the key, once I get this going, I'm gonna turn this down. It's good, it's hot in the pan. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down to about 4 or 5. on the scale there. 6-7. Hear from in there in the other room. 6-7. Alright, so everything's looking pretty good. We'll let that fry up before I flip it. And we'll go ahead and just drain the potatoes while that's cooking. That way I can get started on that. Leave them on the stove up here on the warm rack. Just drain all this juice. Alright. So all I really got left is 2 more seconds to cook. Then we're going to whip up the gravy. So I need it for that gravy. I need 2-3 cups of milk, flour, and pan dripping. Alright, get these last 2 dredged and then put in. And then we're ready to make our gravy real quick. Then serve it. Probably it's what the recommended thermometer for, I guess. You make sure the internal temperature is done. I just make sure it's cooked all the way through. Make sure there's no red left, anything like that. That tends to work out well. Little bacon grease trap. We got 3 or 4 minutes left here. We'll finish this up and we'll whip up some gravy real fast. So what I'll do is I'll keep out about 3 tablespoons of the grease here, pour the rest in here, get all the chunks out, then I'll add it back to this pot on the simmer. I'll add my milk, add my flour. We'll just stir it until it thickens up good. And then we'll taste it and see how it comes out. And then we'll add from there. See what else they got for the gravy. So the gravy is just 3 tablespoons of the pan dripping, 3 tablespoons of flour, 2 to 3 cups of milk, some salt and pepper, heavy on the pepper. And that's it. We whisk in leave the grease in the skillet, whisk in the flour for a minute or 2 till it's starting to brown. And we slowly add milk. Keep stirring constantly, and then finish with a lot of black pepper. This right here is going to be my whisker. Just use my mixing thing. We're about done. A little bit more cleanup involved anytime you use flour. It seems like you got a lot of stuff to clean up. Flour goes everywhere. Never fails. And that's going to be the last of it. We have our potatoes, our gravy, French fried steak, homemade biscuits. Did everything ourselves. And if ever the gravy's too thin, just leave it on the eye, let it keep simmering, let it keep cooking. It'll keep dehydrating and cooking out some of that milk. If it's too thick, I could have went back and added some more milk, thicking it up. I think now that it's starting to thick up on its own, it's going to come out pretty good. And that should be it. For a minute there, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot to use there. I'm just over here cooking away, doing my own thing. You can feel it thickening up pretty good. So let's go good. I'll put the steak on the plate, split a biscuit open, put some potatoes on there, cover it with gravy, and it'll be a good meal. I mean, all in all, it's not too bad. We have several cups of milk in this recipe. Got some heavy cream, got some butter, cooked it in the olive oil. Oops, just shot gravy everywhere. It is coming out very good. Just about ready for the plate. I'm gonna turn that off because it's pretty good right there. I'll keep thickening it up a little bit while I get the plates ready, start making them. Oh yeah. Alright, that should do it. Pretty quick and easy meal. Now clean up. Like I said, if you use flour or stuff like that, clean up takes a little bit longer, but won't be no big deal. Got the old scrub daddy. I'm gonna scrub all the counters down real good and finish off with some bleach wipes, make sure everything's good and clean, ready for the next meal. Like I said, we'll probably do some Italian meatballs with spaghetti or something like that, or I'll find some kind of recipe with the meatballs, see what comes up. And then after that, we'll see what else happens. I mean, it's been a busy week with the Visine. Every day's been going in early, staying late, you know, almost 11, 12-hour days, so it has been kind of a long week, but we're almost there. Another week of this. We only got 4 weeks left of the semester, and then we'll have the summer, start recruiting, building new classes, all that fun stuff. But that should do it. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time.